You know, he'll make your enemy your footstool. I know about that. He will make your enemy your footstool. He will do that. He will make your enemy your footstool. So if you're going through something right now and you got people that you having a time of struggle with, let me tell you, he will make your enemy your footstool. So my enemies were my bosses at work. They made life so hard for me. They did that. They made life so hard for me. Every time I look up, they were calling me in the office claiming that I'm not a team player, claiming that I didn't do something that they had asked me to do. And then one day, what they did, I'm making spinach. I'm making some spinach and uh, jiffy cornbread, and I'm going to make some pork chops. So what they did is they had one of my principals give me a bad evaluation. Now this is crazy. I don't even know if this is how you make it or not. I probably should have Googled this, but we're talking about how God will make your enemy your footstool. He will make your enemy your footstool. Y'all making some fried spinach with the eggs in it, and I hope it turns out all right. Talking about how he'll make your enemy your footstool. Y'all, I got to tell you a story. You are not going to believe it. I wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't in this story. But he will make your enemy your footstool. The story that I'm about to tell you, it blew my mind. And but anyway, so I'm making some cornbread too. I got some over here. I'm about out of oil. I guess I better go get some. But he will make your enemy your footstool, y'all. He will make your enemy your footstool. For real, for real. Has God ever made your enemy your footstool? So I'm getting ready to tell my story. If you can relate to this, y'all put something in the comments. If God has ever made your enemy your footstool, a way to help you climb and go a little bit higher in life. Have you ever had a time when God has picked you up and planted you in another place, in another great place, because of what your enemies did? He did for me. Please share and subscribe to my channel. On my channel, I just talk about life, some of the things that I've gone through, and then what I do is I share tips and tricks about how you can uh, advocate for yourself. So this particular story goes like this. One day I was sitting at my desk. I was a special ed facilitator, and I was getting ready for my next meeting. And I got a message from the principal. Now, she didn't pick up the phone and call me or anything like that. She sent me an email. She avoided me like the plague. We'd be walking down the hallway and she would avoid me like the plague. So she sent me an email asking, Reba, can you come to my office for a minute? And would you bring your job description? So I said to myself, wait a minute, my job description? Shouldn't she already have my job description? That's what I was thinking. But, you know, being a team player that I am, because I kept her from a class action suit from some parents who were going to sue her. But I kept her from a class action suit of special ed parents. And I say I kept them from it because I did my job. And because I did my job, the parents became very supportive of what I was trying to do to help their kids go to the next level. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this is nothing. Let me go ahead and get my job description together and give it to them. So I had it filed, took it out, made a copy of it, and I took it to her. That was about 10 o'clock that morning. Y'all are not going to believe this. But that afternoon, that afternoon, and I can't make this up, so y'all stay with me. I cannot make this up, y'all. I have witnesses of what happened. That afternoon, she sent me another text asking me to come to her office. So I usually wore heels to work because I always try to dress up and give my parents and my students my best. So I didn't go to school looking tore up from the floor up like some of the other employees did. I ain't trying to throw no shade, but I'm just saying this is a professional setting. And I had my little outfit, my little cute dress on, probably a blue dress. I can't even remember exactly what dress I had on. One of these days, it probably will come to my thoughts. Oh, thank you. I hope it tastes good. Look, I got me some cornbread ready. Woohoo! I got some pork chops baking in the oven. Y'all, look, don't play with me. Got me some spinach brewing. Y'all not going to believe the rest of this story. So stay with me. Hang with me, okay? She sent me another message. And she emailed me this message. And this message said, Miss Johnson, will you please bring me, can you please come to my office? So I went to her office like she asked. Y'all not going to believe this. I went to her office. And when I sat down, well, I didn't sit down. She didn't offer me a seat. I remember that. She said, Miss Johnson, I have evaluated you, and I just need you to sign your evaluation. Huh? You did what? She said, yes, I've evaluated you, and I just need you to sign your evaluation. I said, oh, okay. But you know how your mind be clicking. Click, 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 be clicking. My mind was clicking, y'all. It was clicking real quick. You better read that stuff. You better read that evaluation. So I did. I started reading that evaluation, and everything said two things. One of two things. Either does not meet expectations or highly need training. Does not meet or highly need training, something like that. I said, well, maybe I said, is this my evaluation? I just need you to sign it. This can't be my evaluation. I said, first of all, I'm not even a teacher. And there's questions on here about that I didn't meet the standard for a teacher. Central office said we can evaluate everybody if we wanted to. And I just need you to sign your evaluation so I can have it sent in before March something. I said, I'm not signing this. She said, Miss Johnson, I just need you to sign this paper so that I can go ahead and turn it in. I said, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to sign it. And then something said, go ahead and sign it and make sure you write down what you don't agree with. So you know what? I didn't sign it. I did not sign my name. But what I did is I wrote down some specific things. Hey, Yvonne, come here for a minute. I wrote down some specific things. Hold it for me. I wrote down, no, just hold it to me. Yeah. I wrote down some specific things. Turn it and see. Yeah. One of the things I wrote down was I had no idea I was even getting evaluated. That's the first thing that I wrote. Now, according to our employee handbook, you have to know you're getting evaluated, number one, and you have to have conferences along the way so that if there's things you're not doing too well, you can work on them. You will know what to work on. So I never showed them this. Look at that. Look at that. Look good, don't it? I'm working on it. So I never even had an idea that I was even being evaluated. And what make it so bad, it wasn't even my evaluation year. No, it was not. It was not my evaluation year. It was people like in A to F or something. And my name begins with a J. So it wasn't even the year for the J's. Y'all, but she evaluated me outside of my evaluation year. That was the first problem. So I want to encourage you, make sure that you read your employee manual. Make sure you read it. You know exactly if it's your year, you know exactly what to do. It has some rules on it. Make sure that you read your employee manual. Make sure you read it real well. Because if you read your employee manual, you will find out, guess what? Some things that's going to protect you. That's what you're going to find out. Some things that's going to protect you. Now, the story gets better. We're talking about how God will make your enemy your footstool. That's what we're talking about. So, and this is crazy, y'all. So, I didn't put any salt and pepper in this. I don't really know how to cook this. But so anyway, she told me, she said, well, I can evaluate anybody. They told me I can evaluate anybody that I want to, whether it's outside your year or not. That's what they told me that I could do. I said, I don't know who they are, but my employee manual says I'm not going to be evaluated for another 2 years. So that was the first mistake she made, was evaluating me outside of my evaluation year. The second mistake that she made, she had already evaluated me really, for real. But she needed my job description so she could at least have something to go by. And I gave her my job description. She didn't even know what my job duties were. This was March, y'all. School was almost over. She didn't even know what my job duties were. Now that's crazy to me. How you gonna evaluate somebody and you don't have any benchmarks to go by? You have nothing. You haven't had any counseling sessions along the school year. That's against the employee manual of a teacher. If you're going to evaluate a teacher, do that and conference with them so they can know what to work on. She didn't do any of that, and she thought I was going to sign that stupid paper. Anyway, so I wrote down, I did not get conferencing. It's outside my evaluation year, and I didn't even know I was getting evaluated until the day that I got evaluated. So you're supposed to read your employee manual, y'all. Let me tell you, he will make your enemies your footstool. In my employee manual, it said that I could challenge my evaluation and have a hearing. So I filled out the email paperwork that said, I want my hearing. And this is crazy. The hearing officer sent me back a message that said, I need you to have all of your evidence to me within 3 days. He must not have read the employee manual either. He must not have. Because my employee manual said I had 10 days to turn in the evidence. Not 3, not 4 or 5. He said I had 10 days to turn in my information. I took those 3 days, y'all. I took those 4 days, y'all. I took those 5 days. I took those 6 days. I think I turned it in maybe about the 8th day. And I was ready. I was so ready for this hearing. So I go to the hearing, and the hearing officer was upset because all the evaluations had to be in by a certain time. And by me taking the time that was given to me in the employee manual, it went over the evaluation time frame. That's why you got to read your employee manual. So I go to the hearing. 2 people went with me. I couldn't get certain people to support me or go with me or whatever during that time. I even tried to talk to somebody at the NAACP, but they was kind of in cahoots with the district a little bit, or something was going on funny because he was moving funny, and he let me know he couldn't help me. But my pastor and my daughter went with me, y'all. They went with me not only to support me, but they also, like my pastor, he went to support me. But my daughter actually was a person who was going to testify. And so we get to the hearing, and my daughter testified, and then somebody else testified, and somebody else testified. 2 people from the district testified against me. They testified against me. And then it was a third person that was getting ready to testify, and she had a binder this thick. Now, the 2 people that had testified earlier, let me tell you about those 2 people. They had never sat in an ARC meeting, special ed meeting for a student. They had never sat in a meeting. So they had no idea how I rolled. They had no idea what type of facilitator I was. They had no idea if I was doing my job or not, because they had never sat in not one meeting with me. And they were allowed to testify against me. Crazy, right? How are you going to evaluate somebody and testify against somebody? You don't know what their job duties are, and you've never been in a meeting with them. So the third person, now she had been in a meeting with me. She had been in other meetings with me, like administrator meetings. We were all administrators at certain levels. So she had been in all kind of meetings, and she had called herself a trainer. She was a a high school administrator. She was a tester, a diagnostic tester, for real, for real. So anyway, she was getting ready to testify against me, and she had a binder this thick, y'all. I guess they had been keeping notes on me for years. I don't know. But I do know that her binder was this thick. She was getting ready to testify against me. Now, y'all, you have to, you had to be there to really respect what my pastor did. And so I'm going to give you a link. The name of my book is called Bullies in the Boardroom, How I Maximize My Seat at the Conference Table. So I'm going to finish telling you about this story, but the Bullies in the Boardroom book is going to tell you the big thing that happened as a result of this meeting and how God made my enemies my footstool. Mm-hmm. So this particular woman was getting ready to testify, and my pastor said, I object. And the hearing officer said, well, you can't object. It's not your turn to testify, and it's not your turn to talk, sir. It's her turn. It's her turn to testify. And the pastor said, that's what I need to object to. You getting ready to let her testify against Reba. She done heard everybody else's testimony. She wasn't supposed to hear any of it. She wasn't supposed to testify until she's been called in from outdoors. She was supposed to stay out of the hearing until it was her turn to testify. But she had sat there and heard it all. See, my daughter could not testify against anybody else unless she couldn't sit in the meeting. She couldn't sit in the meeting unless she had finished testifying. But they were going to let this administrator testify against me after hearing everybody else's testimony. And the hearing officer, when my pastor checked him on that and said, you can't let her testify because she sat here and heard everything. The hearing officer turned 3 shades of red. And he looked at my pastor. That's a good pastor, somebody that will go to you on your job with you to just be support. But when he saw that the process was not going properly, he spoke up on my behalf. He spoke up for me. And when that hearing officer said, you know what, sir, you are exactly right. And then he looked at the other woman. He was embarrassed. I know he was, because he was 2-3 shades of red. He looked at her and said, ma'am, I'm sorry. Now he apologizing to her. I'm the one who should have been apologizing to, but he apologized to her and said, ma'am, I'm sorry. You cannot testify against Reba because you sat here and heard everything. Y'all, this woman got so mad. He'll make your enemies your footstool. She took that book this thick, and she clicked her heels. She had on some heels too. See, I was dressed to the nine too. But she took her book and she clicked out. Click, 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 click. Oh, she was mad. You could hear those. I know they could hear those heels all the way down the hall. She was mad because she couldn't testify. Who gets mad because they can't testify? Well, she did. So the hearing continued afterwards. It was supposed to take so many days to get results. Within 3 days, not only did they have to put me back in good standing, but the evaluation that this henchwoman had did to me, the evaluation that this woman did, I'm sure at the direction of the special ed department who was trying to get me out. See, they had used me for something,